Children are not the nuisance that we make them out to be. And as a mom and a developmental professional, I find it absolutely exhausting, this idea that it is cool to marginalize children. Yesterday, our family met some other families at a winery, and we go to wineries fairly regularly. Where we live, wineries are just like wide open space with picnic tables. It's a great way for us to spend an evening and let the kids be outside. So as we pull up to this winery, we had heard that they were family friendly. They have this sign on the gate that says children must remain seated with their parents. And so it gave me and my husband pause, but we were like, maybe it's just to cover the wineries, but because it's on a farm, make sure the parents are supervising their kids are not being unsafe. So as we go in, we meet up with the other families that we were there to meet, and they had both been told when they went in to get their drinks, do you know of our children's policy? Like, what are you talking about? So apparently they were just directing their attention to the sign on the gate that says the parents need to supervise their kids. But as the evening went on, it became very clear that they don't want children at the winery, and they just didn't want to say it. I also want to point out that our group was the only people at the winery when we got there, and they were still very concerned about our children simply existing, even though they don't have a policy against having children at the winery. As the evening went on, two other people did show up, so I guess they were really worried that those two people would not like the fact that we had children at the winery, even though it's not a child-free establishment. So after being directed 2 times to the child policy, everyone is aware that we need to supervise our kids, which we were going to do anyway. Well, at one point in the evening, I was walking from our picnic table, which is in the middle of a field. There is no one around. There is no one within 20 yards of us that we could bother. I was walking from a picnic table to a pavilion to grab our lunchbox that had some snacks for the 6 kids we had with us and bring it back. So I had 3 of the kids walking with me. 2 of my friends' kids and 1 of my own kids were walking to the pavilion. And one of the workers comes out to talk to my friend, who's a mom, and says those kids cannot run in the pavilion. And what's fascinating is that I was walking with them. There were 3 kids all walking directly beside me. No one was running and no one was in the pavilion. Also, what's really fascinating to me is that the children were doing the exact same thing that I was, walking to the pavilion to get something they needed and bring it back. And the woman didn't say, hey, that grown woman out there can't run in the pavilion. She said the kids can't. We were not doing anything wrong. The kids were not running, they were not screaming, they were not disturbing anyone. And if they were doing anything disturbing, there was no one else around to disturb, and yet we were still reprimanded just because our toddlers were existing in their bodies as toddlers. Let's think about that.